Hello, my name is Joan Senda. I am an osteopath and yoga teacher. First of all, I want to let you know that in the description you'll find links to both in-person and online anatomy of yoga courses. Today we're going to look at a sequence for balancing the gases in the blood. Very often we tend to inhale but not exhale enough, leading to excess oxygen or a lack of CO expulsion in the blood. This creates an imbalance of gases, and the hypothalamus, which is responsible for managing all of this, will start working to restore that balance. Let's go to the screen. Here we can see the alveoli, which is where the actual gas exchange takes place. To have a good balance of gases, we need proper blood circulation. If we look, the alveoli are surrounded by arteries and veins for the exchange of oxygen, CO, and residual gases. Therefore, activating the circulatory system is extremely important. The imbalance of oxygen and CO also causes a pH imbalance. That is why activating the sympathetic nervous system in the circulatory system allows us to maintain pH balance and gas equilibrium. The main respiratory muscle is the diaphragm. Here it is. It's a huge, large muscle that descends when we inhale and rises when we exhale. That's all it does. It goes up and down while also expanding laterally. Obviously, the diaphragm is the muscle that always needs to be unlocked with stretching. We'll now look at the types of postures, for example, bends or extensions. But we also have to keep in mind that there's another muscle involved, which is the psoas. The psoas and the diaphragm are closely connected. If the psoas is tight, for example, the right psoas, it will create tension on the diaphragm and vice versa. If we have tension in the diaphragm, it will transmit that force to the psoas. The secondary respiratory muscles, such as the intercostals, or all the muscles involved in primary and secondary respiration, which is all the muscles of the torso, from the clavicles down to the pelvic area, all of these muscles are involved in long, deep breathing. Obviously, we're not talking about passive breathing, but about long, deep breaths. The big problem we have nowadays is that we don't know how to exhale. We inhale, but we don't exhale. And if we lack respiratory awareness, the diaphragm will always work in a passive way, which creates a respiratory muscular habit. And yoga, with its stretches and pranayama techniques, allows us to unlock the respiratory muscles. Ardha Prasarita Padottanasana. We open the legs a little wider than hip width apart and place the hands at the level of the knees. We inhale, and as we exhale, we lift the diaphragm and at the same time apply Mula Bandha and, if possible, Uddiyana, which is the compression of the navel inward and upward. We remain in Vayakumbhaka. It is an empty retention for as long as possible, meaning we have to hold it as long as we can. Once we can't hold any longer, we release the bandhas and repeat. We maintain the posture for 1 to 3 minutes. Dynamic Uttanasana. With the inhalation, we go to Urdhva Hasta, raising the arms and expanding the rib cage. Extensions are always done on the inhalation unless stated otherwise. If we can, we bring the head back. All of that is done with the inhalation, and with the exhalation we descend into Uttanasana. We apply Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, and Vayakumbhaka, an empty retention. When we can't hold any longer, we inhale and return to Urdhva Hastasana. We keep the movement going for 1 to 3 minutes. We take advantage of the forward bend to compress the lungs and help with lung emptying. Parsvanga. We raise the arms above the head and interlace the fingers in Venus lock. We inhale at the center, and as we exhale, we lean to the left side. What for? To expand the rib cage, especially the right lung, which is larger, as well as the intercostal muscles, diaphragm, and right psoas. We maintain the exhalation by applying Uddiyana Bandha and Vayakumbhaka, the breath retention on empty. When we can't hold any longer, we inhale back to center, and as we exhale, we lean to the right side to expand the left side of the rib cage. We continue with this movement for 1 to 3 minutes. The lateral bends with Vayakumbhaka allow on one hand for the lateral compression of the lungs and on the other for the stretching of the diaphragm and intercostal muscles in a unilateral way. That is, specifically, first on one side and then on the other. Dynamic Utkatasana. From Tadasana with long, deep breathing, we become aware of our breath, applying a bit of Mula Bandha. And as we exhale in Vayakumbhaka, we bend our legs and apply Uddiyana Bandha. When we can't hold it any longer, we inhale and return to Tadasana. We maintain the movement for 1 to 3 minutes, keeping the arms raised. With Vayakumbhaka, we help lift the rib cage, especially the upper ribs, which tend to be more blocked. Dynamic Ukata Konasana. From Utthita Tadasana, with the arms raised overhead, we inhale, and as we exhale, we lower down into Ukata Konasana. We remain in Vayakumbhaka, an empty retention with the diaphragm in the upper position. When we can't hold it any longer, we inhale and return to Utthita Tadasana. We continue with our movement for the first 3 minutes. This exercise helps with the expulsion of gases. Parsvottanasana. From Tadasana, we step the left foot forward. With the inhalation, we raise the arms and look forward. As you exhale, keeping the spine as straight as possible, lower down until your hands touch the floor beside your foot, while applying Uddiyana Bandha. Vayakumbhaka. When you can't hold it any longer, inhale, lift the torso and arms above the head. This posture allows for the stretching of the posterior muscle chain and the elongation of the spine for better respiratory emptying up to Chandrasana. This posture is a stretch for the entire posterior muscle chain. The arms are raised, and we perform a diaphragmatic release while simultaneously stretching the psoas, which, as we've seen, is involved. It is a good posture for elongating the spine, allowing us to release the respiratory muscles and making it easier to empty the lungs. We inhale, legs apart, arms extended to release the diaphragm, and as we exhale, we bend forward, arms going back to stretch the posterior muscle chain. This dynamic movement helps expand the rib cage. We release the diaphragm, intercostals, serratus muscles, and so on. All the muscles involved. From Dandasana, we stretch our arms above our head to expand the rib cage, and as we exhale, we keep our arms up and apply Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha, holding in Vayakumbhaka. When we can't hold it any longer, we inhale, lengthening the spine. We repeat this cycle for 1 to 3 minutes. By raising our arms, we are stretching the muscle chain and the diaphragm, etc. From Dandasana, as we inhale, we exhale and move into Paschimottanasana. It is a forward bend that stretches the posterior muscle chain. This dynamic posture, moving from Dandasana to Paschimottanasana, is essentially a blood flow movement. This improves cellular respiration because the lungs perform the gas exchange, that is, the alveoli do, but in reality it is the cells that actually breathe. Therefore, this combination of expanding the rib cage along with dynamic movement allows us to deliver blood to the cells more efficiently. Upavista, Vittilasana, Madrasana. As we inhale, we bring the torso forward, and as we exhale, we pull the navel inward to stretch the posterior muscle chain. We are in the same position as before. Using dynamic movements together with the expansion of the rib cage, we take in oxygen, expel carbon dioxide, and drain gases from the blood at the cellular level. Ekapada Rajakapottanasana. In this posture, what we are going to do is Uddiyana Bandha and Vayakumbhaka. We inhale, and as we exhale, we pull the navel inward and upward, and when we can't hold it any longer, we release the diaphragm and abdomen as we inhale, and on the exhale, we repeat the process. Then we switch legs. Situvanda Sarvangasana with a block. If possible, place a block under the sacrum so you can hold the posture for a longer time. We exhale and apply Uddiyana Bandha using gravity to help us, and we remain in Vayakumbhaka for as long as we can. Semi-inverted postures help us to unblock the diaphragm, improving our breathing. When we can't hold it any longer, we inhale, exhale again, and apply Uddiyana Bandha and Vayakumbhaka in Navasana. We hold onto the backs of our knees to achieve greater stability. We inhale, and as we exhale, we apply Uddiyana Bandha and remain in Vayakumbhaka. When we can't hold it any longer, we inhale and repeat the process. We continue for 1 to 3 minutes. It is essential to tone the abdominal muscles to improve the removal of gases from the blood, since the abdominal muscles are also involved, especially during exhalation. We sit in Sukhasana in a comfortable posture with the spine upright. We inhale, exhale, and apply Uddiyana Bandha with Kumbhaka. When we can't hold it any longer, we inhale and repeat the process. We continue for 3 to 11 minutes. This type of Kumbhaka will allow us to expand the rib cage and create a suction of blood toward the heart, and from the heart to the lungs for gas exchange.
Waheguru, 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 Wahejio. 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 Waheguru, 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 wahegio. 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 Waheguru, waheguru, waheguru.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.